Greetings from San Diego. I love San Diego. I probably would live here if Miami did not exist. But for several reasons, I settled down in Miami and I prefer it there for now. But San Diego, every time I come here, I'm like, I could see myself being here in 5 to 10 years. It's a great place, I think, to settle down. Um, the weather's great. There's so many beaches. There's a nice laid back vibe here. I think that's a West Coast thing in general, actually. East Coast is just more fast paced, more type A personalities. I guess it's a double edged sword. When I lived in LA, to me it was too slow, including the people are too slow, if you get my drift. San Diego, there's a peace that I feel when I come here. But I had a crazy day yesterday at a nude beach, and I want to tell you guys about it. So, I've talked about this beach before. It's called Black's Beach. It's a very well known beach here in San Diego. It's mostly known, I guess, for being a nude beach, but that's not all that it's known for. Um, it's a well known local haunt as well as tourist spot. But the reason it's my favorite beach is that it's so isolated. For those of you who have explored Southern California beaches, my impression of Southern California beaches is that they're not that nice. There's beautiful sunsets and they tend to be large and vast as things are in California in general. Um, but it's not like Miami where Miami Beach, the water sometimes can be pristine and there's fish everywhere and it's warm and you want to be in the water, right? Kind of like the Caribbean. When I think of Southern California beaches, aesthetically, oftentimes it's like right off of like an interstate road. Uh, Malibu is like that. People always romanticize Malibu, but most of the beaches, even the beaches that are nice, if you just turn around, there's like cars going by really, really fast and there's huge electrical cables running about. So, what I love about Black's Beach is you have to hike down quite a bit. So, once you're down there, it's totally isolated. You're very much in nature. There's no cars, there's no loud noises. You're isolated. And also the fact that you have to hike down, what it means is I've never seen that beach packed ever. You don't see a bunch of kids running around. The result is there's just a calmness when you get down there, and there's a long, long, long strip that you can walk. It's perfect for those who love beach strolls like myself. So anyway, I go to this beach, right? And my privates haven't seen the sun since like 1763. So when I lay down there, I find a nice isolated spot and I go nude, but I'm not at that level yet where I feel comfortable walking around nude. I would say that's a loud plane. I would say half the people, maybe more, maybe 60 to 70% of people are nude at this beach, but the rest are fully clothed and they just go there probably for the same reasons that I do. I was this close to actually walking around naked, just for the freedom of it. And then, as I've noticed with this beach, I don't know if nude beaches are like this in general because I've never been to nude beach other than this one beach. But it's like there's 5% hotties and 95% like people I would rather not see naked. And there's much, much, much older men, presumably gay men, who frequent this beach. Um, and when I say much older, because I'm sure some of you guys are gonna be like, oh, look at you being ageist talking about 40 or 50s. No, I'm talking like they gotta be at least 70, 80 years old, these guys walking around nude, which is fine. But the point of what I'm saying is that was my main reason for not wanting to go nude because some of them, it just feels very obvious that they're cruising, like they're looking for guys to mess around with, and I just don't want to attract unwanted attention. So I just figured if I'm walking around nude, then it's an invitation for attention that I might not want. So anyway, I ended up going on this super long stroll with my trunks on. And at one point, from a distance, I see this tall man, uh, and I was attracted to his shape from a distance. He's nude. Again, I'm not nude. And I saw a large appendage hanging between his legs. So I'm walking, I just glance at him from a distance, and then he's glancing at me, but I notice he's like not looking away. So now we're making eye contact, and to break the ice, I just smile, right? When in doubt, smile. He comes over and we start talking, and it's very clear to me that he's ready to go. Like he's looking for somebody to hop in the bushes with. He's giving me all the signals that he's looking for someone to get freaky with. And a part of me, so this has never happened to me. So a part of me is just kind of like amazed at the fact that this is happening and at his boldness. And I'm like, good for you that you know what you want and you just go for it. Because as I mentioned a million and five times on this channel, I'm not used to men approaching me in a sober environment, meaning it's not a bar at 2 in the morning. It's daylight, it's public, there's people around. So a part of me was enamored by his boldness, but the other part of me, I guess the cerebral, sort of logical part of me, is like, if you're this eager with a total stranger, is this just like a casual Tuesday for you? And I'm very paranoid about sexual health and stuff. So I was like, I can't move forward with this. But I thanked him for his interest. I politely declined. I complimented him, saying, hey, you're a good looking guy. That's not really, I'm not really ready for that kind of thing. But I was just happy to have this experience. I was like, this is what a new experience for me. So one of the lessons here is when you make eye contact, if you're interested, just keep making eye contact. And I think I have a habit of making eye contact, but then I look back down because I don't want to make somebody uncomfortable. What if they just glance, but it's not mutual? And I've had weird situations. I remember living in New York City, and sometimes this would happen on the subway. And I'm like, oh, is that guy into me? And then suddenly a girlfriend pops up out of nowhere and like kisses the guy on the cheek. And I'm like, what? I thought there was something here. So I think all those experiences and also just the childhood gay complex and stuff, like sometimes I probably back right out of something, and you never know, you could be missing out on an opportunity to connect. Now again, this opportunity, maybe I don't want to connect that way, but I was still intrigued, right? So I keep walking. So the story's not even over. I keep walking and I see a handsome Middle Eastern guy as he's getting out of the water. And I was intrigued by him because he's completely by himself and he's in a very sequestered part of the beach. So I'm just intrigued by this guy. Like, who's this guy? What's his story? So we make eye contact when he's coming out of the water, but he has sunglasses on, I have sunglasses on. He's walking, I'm walking. I look back down again, same thing. I made eye contact, but I smiled. I did one of these but because I didn't receive like a significant enough response from him, I just keep walking my way, and I'm not sure what to make of it, right? And then still in his area, because I'm like, fuck, was that mutual? And you go through this whole thought. I decided to go in the water. This is where the European comes out of me. 100 meters away from him. And I go in the water, I come back out, still not sure what that vibe was, if it was mutual. So finally I'm like, all right, whatever. He didn't come over. It was too ambiguous. I keep going my way. I continue on my long, long stroll. And then when it's time to come back to where my stuff is, I cross paths with him again. But now he's leaving, so he's about to hike back up. And again, we cross paths, and I do a little smile, and now he comes over to me. So I guess he then took that second moment as the green light of, okay, this is mutual. So he comes over, and he tells me, hey, I saw you over there back where we were in the water, and I wanted to come over because I saw stingrays, and I wanted to warn you, but then you were already in the water, and anyway, obviously you're okay, but yeah, you have to be careful here, blah, blah, blah. So I thought that was cute and sweet, and we keep talking. We're just standing talking on the beach. We talk more and more, And eventually becomes clear like this is mutual. We're both here by ourselves visiting from Florida. Strangely, he's visiting from Orlando, Florida, which is a few hours away by car from Miami. Really nice guy, friendly, smiley, and he looks so rugged, full big beard. He looked very serious when I first saw him coming out of the water. So when you see that juxtaposition, that with like a very sweet smile, it's such a nice, I don't know, for me, that's such a huge turn on. And it goes to show you how much we like project onto people too, right? Me thinking like he's not, who knows if he's even gay, who knows what he. And then meanwhile, he was thinking the exact same thing about me. So finally it becomes clear like, okay, we're both interested. This is happening. And we talk about meeting for drinks later that day. And then he's like, you know what? Can I walk back with you and we can just sit and talk? And I said, absolutely. So he comes with me back to my towel and my stuff. And we talked for probably close to an hour. Great chemistry. And so warm. Clear that he wants something more substantive. And we had a great connection. And with him being Middle Eastern, there were just certain points where we could click. Me being half Turkish, culturally, just certain things felt very familiar, I think, for both of us. And then we basically agreed to meet for drinks later. And it was just nice. And I don't know, again, I made this video about what is the universe trying to tell me. Lately, I just keep meeting guys and attracting guys more than has ever happened. And I don't know what's going to happen with him, but it doesn't even matter. I'm just marveling at the fact that I went to a beach and how cool that I connected in person the way we're supposed to as human beings. And that one of them was silly, funny, whatever, but the other was like the foundation for it could be a connection, a long-term connection. And it was so serendipitous and easy and simple. So I'm like, wow, like what are the chances? You just run into each other at a beach and and he was marveling at the same thing, at how unexpected it was. And I told him, but it took two people. It's like a dance. Two people who are open and interested and who have the same intentions. And he told me if I had been one of those, if I had approached him the way that other guy had approached me, like nude and clearly just looking to hop in the bushes, he would have totally lost interest. Regardless of his attraction to me or anything else, the communication, the sort of operating the same way cerebrally, he would have been turned off. So like how funny that I met a guy at a nude beach, but neither of us was actually nude. Uh, and we just clicked and we both met for something so innocent after just casual drinks. By the way, side note, because it was a quick trip, he didn't have like regular going out for drinks clothes, but he had a suit with him because he's then he then has a business thing. Anyway, so he showed up in a suit to the date. I was like, oh my God, he looked so fine. I've never met a man for a date who was wearing like a suit. Sexy. A man who knows how to dress. Anyway, it was a great date. Again, I don't even care. It's really cool to be at a point in life where I don't even care about what will happen or what could happen. And I feel like when I first started dating, like early to mid 20s, I would apply this pressure of, oh, I really like this guy and I hope it works out and da 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 da. But when you just, I don't know what he's thinking. I get a sense that he might actually have more pressure built in, and I think some of that is cultural. But for me, I'm at a point where I don't even feel any pressure because I've had so many disappointments that I think my expectations have changed over time and I've built a life on my own at this point, as I've mentioned in other videos. But I'm just marveling at how I met somebody so serendipitously without alcohol being involved, without being, I guess it's technically kind of a gay environment, but it's not like a gay bar at 2 a.m, right? It's not an app. How refreshing to meet somebody and be able to use your regular people skills and social skills. So what an interesting experience. I didn't expect this. I knew I would come here and probably make a video just about the usual shit, like how every time I come here, I'm shocked by how many men on these apps are looking specifically for trans women, which is great for trans women. I've said this before, something about San Diego, maybe it's a Southern California thing, I don't know. I'm like, every other person on these apps is looking for trans women. Great for trans women, by the way. Not so great for me because if you haven't noticed, I'm not a trans woman. But yeah, I thought I was gonna make a video just about the regular shit. And I'm glad I get to share this experience of I got propositioned at a nude beach, and then I met a guy at a beach, and we had a great date after. So, wanted to share this story. Until next time.